Okay, so this study is a wedding banquet. So Strong's 1062, marriage, wedding feast, nuptials, and wedding celebration. In the marriage supper of the Lamb, which begins with Christ glorifying all the saints. Some are starting to see that. A multi-day feast marked by formal invitations, Matthew 22:3. And remember, they were invited and they were too busy and they missed it. So what did they do? They went and got, whoever they could find and brought them in. But some didn't have wedding garments. And we do have those. So processions at nightfall. Begins at nightfall, Matthew 25:10. And, they go through the town with the lights at nightfall when it's dark. And it reminded me of summer and winter it shall be type thing. And where it talks about, the summer harvest, or summer is ended and the harvest has failed. Guys, it's the nightfall and it's still summer. Time fulfilled. We can hope. So, festive banquets hosted by the groom's family, John 2:1-2. And remember, it says if you have the groom, then you are part of the bridegroom. I can't remember where that's at in the Bible. I should have wrote that down. So bright, pure linen is the righteousness of saints. And if you know in the New Testament, the revealing, things that are made visible, righteousness by faith. This isn't of ourselves. This is by faith, like Sarah, Abraham. They were found righteous by faith. And Revelation 19:7-8, clothed in humility and grace to the humble, 1 Peter 5:5. So hearing the instruction of the Father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, for they shall be as an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. Proverbs 1:8-9. It's talking about the chains and the, with the head and the neck. You call out for grace, but there's still accountability, y'all. You can't abuse grace. So, earrings of gold, and on the ornament of fine gold, so a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. Obedient ear. Proverbs 25:12. So feet with sandals, remove, for the whole ground is holy. Holy, holy. I put it 3 times. It remind me of the 4 living creatures that go around the throne of God. Holy, 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 they proclaim. And when you have the feet, the gospel of peace, Moses on the mountain of God, God told Moses, remove thou sandals, for where you stand is holy ground. And when you think of, it's actually part of the Psalm 119 with one of the letters, and it actually refers to, the feet is a lamp. The law is a lamp unto my feet. So Mark 1:10, and straightway coming up out of the water, he saw the heavens open and the Spirit like a dove descending upon him. And if you think about when it was talking about Jonah, that word, dove, and as soon it's talking about a Jesus, Euthus is Strong's 21:12, mirroring. Anon, as soon as forthwith, immediately, shortly, straightaway. In the word origin in Greek 2095, well laid, Greek 5087. So came up, Anabano and Strong's 305, arise, ascend, climb, spring up. And the word origin is Greek 303, each, and Greek 939, feet, each of your feet. Out of Exorix, Strong's 1537, from, out, among, result. The, which is ho, hey, or two, Strong's 3588. The, this, they, one, he, she, those who bear the name. Remember? Water is Huror, Strong's 5204, water, or waters, rain, rainy, a shower, varies from a mundane refreshment to profound theological revelation. God reveals things by his Spirit. He saw is hurrah, or hurreo, is Strong's 3708. Behold, perceive, see, take heed, to stare at, to discern clearly, to attend to experience, to appear. Wide open eyes. It reminds me, they did a movie, kind of jumbled the words, but eyes wide open. Yeah. They tell you. And then the word thee again. And then heavens, Oranos, Strong's 3772, air, sky, to rise up or to rear up, power of the gospel. And I remember, is it Proverbs? Not to await my beloved before the time. If they woke the beloved up before time, would that not be very bad for the people that did that? But God would allow it. The transcendent realm where God uniquely manifests his presence. And the sky proclaims the Creator's glory, which is the head, in the throne or mouth, angelic messengers, anchor, worship, spirit and truth, revealed divine decrees, and underline absolute holiness, character of the heavenly court. So breaking open, Shizo, Strong's 4977, to break, divide, open, rend, to make a rent, split or sever. And the gospel divides those of God and those who are not, because they reject God. The real church is to live on the living ground of grace. I think it's supposed to be giving ground of grace. Mending the torn, yet guarding the new. And, which is Kai, is Strong's 2532. Also, even, indeed, but, therefore. Having a state of being, and sometimes also increase of strength or effect through a series of successful additions. Word meanings go so much deeper. And then the word thee again, but spirit is pneuma, which is breath. Strong's 4151 is life, spirit, mind, wind or winds, and blue. So descending is catabenio, Strong's 2597, come, step, down, fall, went down. And I remember recently, take the step. Oh, yep. Word origin is according, and feet is Strong's 2596 for according, and Strong's 939 for feet. and the feet are the base of which to stand. You want solid ground, not sand. On is autos, is Strong's 846. Things, those, yourselves. The word origin is Greek 109, which is air. Baffling wind, naturally. Circumambient, goes around. We were talking about, ventilators, how it goes in and out, circumvents. So like is Haas, is 5613, is about, after, soon, with all speed, to wit. Word origin in Greek 3739 means which, in the manner of which or how. So dove is pastura, is 4058, which is dove or pigeon, because they both coo their cousins. It invokes innocence, purity, peace, gentle activity of the Spirit of God. The olive-bearing bird signals a renewed earth after the flood. Blessed are the peacemakers, they shall be called the children of God. Can also be called two turtle doves, during Christ's Mass. Y'all stay away from of the world celebrations. So the gentle motion of the dove contrasts with violent political hopes of the day, signaling a kingdom advanced not by force, but by his Spirit. Zechariah 4:6. So that was the first part that I had. Let's see. Yeah, I just have one page. Okay, there it is. I was like, wait a minute, I should have had 2 pages, and I do. I found it. So when you think of a wedding, especially certain types of the way weddings are set up with different nationalities, I guess is the way to put it. So when you announce an engagement, poo is what they say. And it was kind of hidden so people wouldn't understand, but those who knew would know. So lightly spit 3 times, a hidden announcement for those who are invited. It's a hidden form of ayin, haral. Remember we did the study on ayin, AI, EM. It's done so nothing spoils their happiness, which is why it was hidden, all of us, until the wedding feast, and then it's going to be made blatantly obvious to the world. So the wedding is the bride circles the groom 7 times under the, and I may destroy these words, I am very sorry, is, they call it a chuppah, I believe, at the beginning, and it's the new household, a spiritual union of it's a wedding canopy is what it is. And when it talks about the bride circles the groom, it reminds me of Joshua and his men, where they were told to circle 7 times around the city back in the day in the book of Joshua. I'm trying to think. It's been a long day. It was so hot today. So it's open on all sides, and it's a sign of hospitality and community. Under the canopy reinforces the union. So wine, blessings, symbolize sanctification and joy. Okay, let's see. That's the wedding feast. That's breaking the glass. So mikveh party is a pre-wedding private affair, and the bride accompanied by many female family members. Remind me of the virgins, the 10 virgins, with 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. And they shower her with blessings, food, drink, music, and more. It's an unconsummated union. Wrong one. I was talking about the wedding feast stuff. That's why I said this stuff is a little bit. So, breaking of the glass, it shows a shared responsibility and strength. to be beside each other, not for the man to walk on the woman or the woman walk on the man, because that does happen too. Later incorporated the shards into the keepsake of a piece of art. It remind me of My Mess as his masterpiece, or My Mess is a masterpiece, which is his. So, ketubah, art and personal expression, a meaningful reminder of their promises to one another, and 7 blessings. Oh, and when this says like the keepsake a piece of art, remind me of stained glass window, how beautiful they are, and it's different pieces of glass that are broken, or at least nowadays it appears it is. It's not really done like it used to be, but the 7 blessings, and it's recited under the wedding canopy, and it celebrates creation with joy and divine love. So, announcing the wedding feast, royals had their marriage consummated publicly, which is called a bedding ceremony, to prove the union's fidelity and secure the succession. A royal wedding contract involved land and power. Witnesses required to ensure the bride and groom were physically capable and alliance was fully established. Consummation legally locked the marriage. If the union wasn't consummated, it could be annulled. Which is why they say you have to have intercourse before, or you cannot have your marriage annulled. But, that's where that stems from the days of old. I think outside's blank, yep. And we went through the mikvah. So an unconsummated union meant that any further children could be declared illegitimate, which the Bible calls bastards. Because if you're not corrected by God, then you're not a son and you're a bastard. So which would threaten the royal bloodline and lead to wars of succession. Y'all, this is why they don't want you to correct your children. They're trying to deceive you. Come on, y'all, wake up. Of course they don't want you to have blessings, but I guarantee their children act right, don't they? It's subtle, y'all. So legal contracts relied heavily on community registration. The public wedding ceremony acted as the official record that the couple had united. After the wedding feast, the couple was escorted into the bedchamber by a large group of courtiers, priests, and family members. The blessing, Order of Melchizedek, peace, is what that reminded me of. A priest officially blessed the marriage bed. The couple was often fed a spiced wine designed to stir their courage and libido. So the witnesses, the act was eventually concealed by the bed curtains. The guests lingered to ensure bare legs touched, or the couple shared a kiss, proving the marriage was underway. So even though you do and this is where I'm like, too many people have a piece of paper. They're about the piece of paper, which is nothing. That's why I said, when you're married by God, who married Adam and Eve, y'all? It's the act. It has nothing to do with a piece of paper. Fire can burn that piece of paper like it never existed. But you know what? Fire in a marriage, brings children, don't it? So sheets inspection. If the act wasn't officially observed, maids and officials would inspect the bed sheets following the morning for bloodstains as proof of the bride's virginity and consummation. A harlot, Proverbs 7:16. A virgin bride, Proverbs 31:22, which is the virtuous woman. Instead of seductive immorality, a virtuous woman cares for her household. A metaphor to not trust worldly alliances, but instead trust God. The short bed that a man cannot stretch out illustrates a misery and inadequacy of self-made plans. So the bill of divorcement, when a kingdom falls, they get a bill of divorcement. And the brother that refuses to marry his brother's wife or brother's childless wife is Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10. And this is because the brother was supposed to carry on the family name. He was supposed to take his brother's wife if they were childless. So the ceremony of the shoe. The first son she bears, she shall carry with the name of the dead brother, so that his name will not be blotted out from Israel, which is God prevails, in verse 6. So if you think about it, it talks about, if her brother won't take her as his wife and she's childless, she is to remove his shoe and throw it as a testimony of a witness. That's the ceremony of the shoe. And then the removal